Over the past several days, social media has been flooded with claims, debates, and a storm of speculation surrounding an alleged confrontation between reality star and business mogul Kandi Burruss and her husband, producer Todd Tucker. The twist? These claims didn't originate from anonymous sources, random fan accounts, or shady gossip blogs. No, the person being tied to these allegations is none other than Kandi's own mother, the outspoken and famously protective Joyce Jones. According to circulating online chatter, Joyce has hinted she possesses proof of a private incident that has left fans stunned, divided, and desperately trying to figure out what could have happened behind closed doors. But before we dive into this tangled web, let's make this absolutely clear. Everything in today's video is based on publicly circulating rumors, unverified claims, and intense fan discussion. Nothing has been confirmed by Kandi, Todd, or any official representative. We're here to break down the conversation, the reactions, and the theories, not to present unverified claims as fact. Now, let's dive deep into the story that has the entire internet buzzing. Over the years, viewers have followed the Burruss-Tucker family closely through their appearances on The Real Housewives of Atlanta and other projects. Fans have watched Kandi rise from R&B star to Grammy-winning songwriter, serial entrepreneur, and one of reality TV's most level-headed and business-minded figures. Todd Tucker, her husband, has appeared as a supportive partner, contributing to their shared ventures and building a brand with her. However, as with any marriage, especially one in the public eye, there have always been whispers about occasional tension, misunderstandings, and the typical bumps that happen when family, fame, cameras, and business collide. But nothing in the past compares to the level of speculation happening now, largely because of the alleged involvement of Mama Joyce, a figure who has never been shy about expressing her opinions regarding Todd and the dynamics within the family. In the swirling online discussions, the rumor that Joyce has exclusive proof is what elevated this from a small spark to a raging wildfire. Some fans believe Joyce is stepping in out of deep maternal instinct, wanting to protect her daughter from alleged emotional strain or conflict. Others wonder whether the situation is being overinterpreted or taken out of context, possibly turning a typical marital disagreement into an internet spectacle fueled by assumptions and incomplete information. What's made the situation even more compelling is how fast it spread. Within hours of the rumors gaining traction, social media was overflowing with fan theories, commentary, speculative timelines, recycled reality show clips, and alleged snippets of leaked conversations. Whether these snippets are real, edited, misinterpreted, or entirely fabricated remains unknown. But the viral nature of the claims has created a snowball effect, one where fans are desperate to connect dots, even if those dots aren't verified. As this digital storm intensifies, one of the most fascinating aspects is how people are reacting to Kandi herself. Many viewers feel deeply connected to her. She's built a reputation over the years as calm, rational, emotionally intelligent, and quietly resilient. Seeing her name linked to messy family drama has created a sense of emotional investment among fans. They're worried, curious, protective, and in many cases completely torn about which narrative to believe. Rumors that Kandi may be feeling hurt or blindsided, again, unverified, are fueling heartfelt posts from fans urging her to prioritize her mental health, take time off social media, or surround herself with people she trusts. Whether or not any emotional fallout is actually happening, it hasn't stopped fans from rallying in her support. Meanwhile, the reaction to Todd Tucker is equally divided. Some fans argue that it's unfair to judge him solely from circulating rumors, especially when he hasn't responded publicly or shared his side of the story. They emphasize that private marital issues should remain private unless factual, confirmed information is released. Others, however, believe that the mere suggestion of proof from Mama Joyce lends weight to the speculation, and therefore they're more inclined to question Todd's intentions or behavior, again, based solely on unconfirmed claims. This division is creating a digital tug-of-war, one where both sides feel justified in their interpretation of events despite the absence of verified details. And then there's Mama Joyce, a central figure who adds complexity, credibility to some, and controversy to others. Joyce Jones has long been known for her candid personality and unwavering protection of her daughter. Her appearances on reality television often showcased her reservations about Todd, her concerns about financial matters, and her emotional investment in Kandi's happiness. Because of this public persona, many fans interpret her alleged involvement in the situation as a continuation of her protective instincts. Supporters applaud her, suggesting that if she's speaking up, it must mean she believes something serious happened. Critics, however, question whether her past tensions with Todd could influence her perspective, leading her to interpret a situation more harshly than someone else might. These conflicting views have only added fuel to the digital debates, creating an emotionally charged atmosphere where fans argue not only about the alleged confrontation, but about family loyalty, generational boundaries, and the complicated role of parents in adult children's relationships. Another layer of the chaos comes from the rumored proof that's circulating in parts online. While there is no verified source confirming any real evidence exists, fans claim to have seen screenshots, audio snippets, or video clips that appear to show tense moments between Todd and Kandi. But as social media has taught us repeatedly, context is everything. A single moment taken from a longer conversation can easily be interpreted in different ways depending on the viewer's assumptions. And without confirmation, these alleged leaks can range from real fragments to manipulations, misrepresentations, or entirely fabricated content made to ride the wave of trending drama. Nevertheless, the rumors continue to spread, intensifying the debate and keeping fans glued to every new post. The internet's amateur detectives have wasted no time diving into past footage from RHOA, hunting for signs of friction that may support the current rumors. Old disagreements, memorable reunions, and high-tension storylines are being re-examined through a brand new lens. Moments that once seemed minor are being reframed as possible foreshadowing, even though there is no confirmation that they relate to the current situation at all. This retroactive analysis is part of what keeps the story alive. It gives fans a sense of investigation, like they're uncovering clues in a real-life mystery. But with that comes the risk of created narratives from incomplete or unrelated information, a risk that always accompanies speculation about real people's private lives. At the center of the storm are two people, Kandi and Todd. Regardless of what did or didn't happen, they're dealing with the reality that millions of people are discussing their marriage, forming opinions, and creating assumptions based on unverified claims. When a private family moment, real or rumored, becomes public conversation, it becomes nearly impossible to control the narrative. Every silence is interpreted, every action is scrutinized, and every rumor is amplified. Fans want answers, but the truth may be far more nuanced than circulating posts suggest. The most interesting part? Nobody knows what's coming next. Will Kandi address the situation publicly? Will Todd break his silence? Will Mama Joyce clarify her alleged statements? Or will the entire saga remain a whirlwind of rumors without ever being fully explained? One thing is certain, the public is hooked. The drama, the emotional undertones, the family history, and the social media speculation have turned this into one of the most talked about stories in celebrity news right now. And now, it's your turn to weigh in. What do you think is really going on behind the scenes? Do you believe the rumors surrounding Todd and Kandi reflect a serious confrontation? Or do you think the internet is blowing an unconfirmed situation completely out of proportion? Do Mama Joyce's alleged comments come from a place of protection, past tension, or something more complicated? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We genuinely want to hear every perspective. If this deep dive kept you captivated, make sure you smash that like button so YouTube knows to keep pushing videos like this. Share this video with your friends because, trust me, everyone is talking about this story right now and you'll want them in the conversation. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Because if more information drops, whether it's a response, a clarification, or a brand new twist, you better believe we'll be covering it right here. The Burruss-Tucker saga is still unfolding. The theories are still multiplying, and the truth, whatever it may be, remains just out of reach. Stay tuned, fam. The next chapter could change everything. Hold on to your seats, fam, because the internet is spiraling into a full-blown frenzy over the latest wave of rumors involving the Burruss-Tucker household. Over the past several days, social media has been flooded with claims, debates, and a storm of speculation surrounding an alleged confrontation between reality star and business mogul Kandi Burruss and her husband, producer Todd Tucker. The twist? These claims didn't originate from anonymous sources, random fan accounts, or shady gossip blogs. No, the person being tied to these allegations is none other than Kandi's own mother, the outspoken and famously protective Joyce Jones. According to circulating online chatter, Joyce has hinted she possesses proof of a private incident that has left fans stunned, divided, and desperately trying to figure out what could have happened behind closed doors. But before we dive into this tangled web, let's make this absolutely clear. Everything in today's video is based on publicly circulating rumors, unverified claims, and intense fan discussion. Nothing has been confirmed by Kandi, Todd, or any official representative. We're here to break down the conversation, the reactions, and the theories, not to present unverified claims as fact. Now, let's dive deep into the story that has the entire internet buzzing. Over the years, viewers have followed the Burruss-Tucker family closely through their appearances on The Real Housewives of Atlanta and other projects. Fans have watched Kandi rise from R&B star to Grammy-winning songwriter, serial entrepreneur, and one of reality TV's most level-headed and business-minded figures. Todd Tucker, her husband, has appeared as a supportive partner, contributing to their shared ventures and building a brand with her. However, as with any marriage, especially one in the public eye, there have always been whispers about occasional tension, misunderstandings, and the typical bumps that happen when family, fame, cameras, and business collide. But nothing in the past compares to the level of speculation happening now, largely because of the alleged involvement of Mama Joyce, a figure who has never been shy about expressing her opinions regarding Todd and the dynamics within the family. In the swirling online discussions, the rumor that Joyce has exclusive proof is what elevated this from a small spark to a raging wildfire. Some fans believe Joyce is stepping in out of deep maternal instinct, wanting to protect her daughter from alleged emotional strain or conflict. Others wonder whether the situation is being overinterpreted or taken out of context, possibly turning a typical marital disagreement into an internet spectacle fueled by assumptions and incomplete information. What's made the situation even more compelling is how fast it spread. Within hours of the rumors gaining traction, social media was overflowing with fan theories, commentaries, speculative timelines, recycled reality show clips, and alleged snippets of leaked conversations. Whether these snippets are real, edited, misinterpreted, or entirely fabricated remains unknown. But the viral nature of the claims has created a snowball effect, one where fans are desperate to connect dots, even if those dots aren't verified. As this digital storm intensifies, one of the most fascinating aspects is how people are reacting to Kandi herself. Many viewers feel deeply connected to her. She's built a reputation over the years as calm, rational, emotionally intelligent, and quietly resilient. Seeing her name linked to messy family drama has created a sense of emotional investment among fans. They're worried, curious, protective, and, in many cases, completely torn about which narrative to believe. Rumors that Kandi may be feeling hurt or blindsided, again, unverified, are fueling heartfelt posts from fans urging her to prioritize her mental health, take time off social media, or surround herself with people she trusts. Whether or not any emotional fallout is actually happening, it hasn't stopped fans from rallying in her support. Meanwhile, the reaction to Todd Tucker is equally divided. Some fans argue that it's unfair to judge him solely from circulating rumors, especially when he hasn't responded publicly or shared his side of the story. They emphasize that private marital issues should remain private unless factual, confirmed information is released. Others, however, believe that the mere suggestion of proof from Mama Joyce lends weight to the speculation, and therefore they're more inclined to question Todd's intentions or behavior, again, based solely on unconfirmed claims. This division is creating a digital tug-of-war, one where both sides feel justified in their interpretation of events, despite the absence of verified details. And then there's Mama Joyce, a central figure who adds complexity, credibility to some, and controversy to others. Joyce Jones has long been known for her candid personality and unwavering protection of her daughter. Her appearances on reality television often showcased her reservations about Todd, her concerns about financial matters, and her emotional investment in Kandi's happiness. Because of this public persona, many fans interpret her alleged involvement in this situation as a continuation of her protective instincts. Supporters applaud her, suggesting that if she's speaking up, it must mean she believes something serious happened. Critics, however, question whether her past tensions with Todd could influence her perspective, leading her to interpret a situation more harshly than someone else might. These conflicting views have only added fuel to the digital debates, creating an emotionally charged atmosphere where fans argue not only about the alleged confrontation, but about family loyalty, generational boundaries, and the complicated role of parents in adult children's relationships. Another layer of the chaos comes from the rumored proof that's circulating in parts online. While there is no verified source confirming any real evidence exists, fans claim to have seen screenshots, audio snippets, or video clips that appear to show tense moments between Todd and Kandi. But as social media has taught us repeatedly, context is everything. A single moment taken from a longer conversation can easily be interpreted in different ways depending on the viewer's assumptions. And without confirmation, these alleged leaks can range from real fragments to manipulations, misrepresentations, or entirely fabricated content made to ride the wave of trending drama. Nevertheless, the rumors continue to spread, intensifying the debate and keeping fans glued to every new post. The internet's amateur detectives have wasted no time diving into past footage from RHOA, hunting for signs of friction that may support the current rumors. Old disagreements, memorable reunions, and high-tension storylines are being re-examined through a brand new lens. Moments that once seemed minor are being reframed as possible foreshadowing, even though there is no confirmation that they relate to the current situation at all. This retroactive analysis is part of what keeps the story alive. It gives fans a sense of investigation, like they're uncovering clues in a real-life mystery. But with that comes the risk of creating narratives from incomplete or unrelated information, a risk that always accompanies speculation about real people's private lives.
However, recently, Miss Kandi Burruss, yes, Grammy-winning songwriter, business mogul, real housewife, mother, wife, and the definition of I'm gonna get a bag no matter what the situation is, took to Instagram and posted something that shook the internet. She wasn't promoting a new restaurant, a new project, or another check. Instead, she shared a carousel of photos that, on the surface, showed her smiling like everything was peachy. But once you read that caption, baby, that smile was doing a whole lot of heavy lifting. Because in the caption, Kandi admitted that behind those smiles, she has been struggling, emotionally drained, internally hurting, and spiritually exhausted. She said that she's the type who shows up for everyone, her family, her kids, her friends, her castmates, her business partners, her fans. She shows up with a smile, even when she's barely hanging on internally. She posted a reel saying that in every picture she shared, she was going through something life-changing that the people around her had absolutely no clue about. And when Kandi says life-changing, we know she's not exaggerating. She was describing emotional brokenness in a way that made it painfully clear that the separation from Todd Tucker wasn't a light decision. It was a heartbreak that had been boiling under the surface for a while. Now, what really struck people was how she admitted to internalizing it all. Kandi said she deals with things alone. She doesn't always ask for help. She doesn't show the cracks. And she described herself as the poster child for check on your strong friend. And baby, she meant that. Because Kandi has been carrying the weight of her marriage, her children, her businesses, her brand, and now this divorce battle on her back like she's auditioning for the Olympics. So when she posted that vulnerable message, fans, friends, and celebrity peers flooded her with love, encouragement, and prayers. Now, while Kandi is in Atlanta dealing with sadness, lawyers, emotions, paperwork, and rehearsals, what is Todd Tucker doing? Well, apparently he has taken himself to the Bahamas. Yes, he said he's healing. Healing from what, you might ask? Because as far as the streets are concerned, Todd isn't the one who should be on a healing retreat. He should be on an accountability retreat. Because according to Funky Deneva and others close to the situation, Todd was allegedly caught texting other women. And not friendly, "Hey sis" messages. No. These were allegedly deeper than casual conversations, deeper than flirty, deep enough to devastate someone like Kandi who had no idea. According to sources that People magazine says are close to the situation, Kandi discovered messages between Todd and other women, and that discovery was the final straw that pushed her to file for divorce. And People magazine does not publish something unless they feel real confident in the tea. Now let me make this clear, because the streets love to create extra drama. The rumor that Todd got another woman pregnant, that's false. Todd had a vasectomy early in their relationship, so that's not the case. But that doesn't mean he wasn't allegedly creeping emotionally. And emotional cheating? Whew! Sometimes that cuts deeper. Sources claim Todd was seen around a particular woman's house, a woman whose name allegedly starts with the letter H. Pictures, addresses, names. Funky DeNeva said he had it all, but didn't want to drag Kandi through more hurt. And if Funky DeNeva says he got receipts, baby, he got them laminated, notarized, and alphabetized. Now, here's where the plot thickens like Thanksgiving gravy. Most people assumed Kandi and Todd had a solid prenup, an ironclad document that protected her assets, her businesses, and her brand. Because let's be real, Kandi walked into this marriage with way more coins, connections, and long-term money than Todd. So when she filed for divorce, the assumption was that this would be a clean process. Sign here, initial there, divide the basics, and boom, the end. But baby, the paperwork? A mess. And I don't mean a slight typo. We're talking formatting wrong, spacing off, commas in the wrong zip code, critical verification pages missing, mistakes that even a beginning paralegal would have caught. Legal experts online were dragging that paperwork like it owed them money. One paralegal commented saying the documents were sloppily done, unprofessional, and simply not up to the standard of someone who is worth $30 million. And the lead attorney on YouTube even called out the formatting issues and suggested that the attorney let a paralegal draft the petition instead of doing it themselves. Then Todd's attorney, yes, Todd got himself a strong attorney, called out Kandi's team for missing a verification page, which could have had the court deem the petition defective, embarrassing, unnecessary, and strategically messy for Kandi, because it made it appear as though Todd's team was more prepared for battle than hers. Now listen, Kandi is a known bargain shopper. Nothing wrong with a sale or a discount unless it's your legal representation in a multi-million-dollar divorce. Fans started side-eyeing the attorney situation like, why does Todd have the lawyer who looks ready to fight in the Supreme Court and Kandi has someone making spacing errors?
Now we cannot talk about Kandi and Todd without mentioning the legendary Mama Joyce. Mama Joyce has been suspicious of Todd since the moment he stepped into Kandi's life. She said he was an opportunist, that he wasn't on Kandi's financial level, and that she could find her daughter a better man in the frozen food section at Publix. She has never hidden her feelings, not on TV, not in interviews, not at the wedding, not ever. And now that the divorce is actually happening, honey, Mama Joyce is probably somewhere smiling from ear to ear like she just hit the Powerball. Online, people are joking that she's clicking her heels like Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz, singing "There's no place like home" because she finally got her daughter back. While all this drama unfolds, Kandi is still working, not just regular working, Broadway working. Rehearsing, memorizing lines, coordinating costumes, engaging with producers, hitting marks, perfecting choreography. Broadway is no joke. It requires stamina, emotional stability, focus, and discipline. But Kandi is doing all of this while going through a divorce, managing public scrutiny, and processing emotional betrayal. She admitted she had moments where she broke down, moments where the pressure felt overwhelming, and moments where she could barely hold herself together. But she keeps pushing because that's who she is. Kandi will cry at 2 p.m., rehearse at 3 p.m., and secure a check at 4 p.m. Meanwhile, Todd is outside, posting emotional messages about missing his mother, sending love to friends, talking about destiny, healing, and greatness. He said his friend Sebastian invited him out for a change of scenery, and somehow Todd ended the day on the campaign trail. He's traveling, reflecting, trying to find peace in paradise, which is interesting timing, to say the least. Now, the thing that really has people talking is this. After everything Todd is alleged to have done, he is reportedly going after Kandi's money and custody. Baby, the audacity of some men should be studied in a lab. And now, the streets, the blogs, and People magazine are all hinting at the same thing. Kandi might be quietly feeding the narrative to the press,
to make sure the public knows Todd is the one in the wrong. And honestly, I wouldn't blame her. At the center of the storm are two people, Kandi and Todd. Regardless of what did or didn't happen, they're dealing with the reality that millions of people are discussing their marriage, forming opinions and creating assumptions based on unverified claims. When a private family moment, real or rumored, becomes public conversation, it becomes nearly impossible to control the narrative. Every silence is interpreted, every action is scrutinized, and every rumor is amplified. Fans want answers, but the truth may be far more nuanced than circulating posts suggest. The most interesting part? Nobody knows what's coming next. Will Kandi address the situation publicly? Will Todd break his silence? Will Mama Joyce clarify her alleged statements? Or will the entire saga remain a whirlwind of rumors without ever being fully explained? One thing is certain: the public is hooked. The drama, the emotional undertones, the family history, and the social media speculation have turned this into one of the most talked about stories in celebrity news right now. And now, it's your turn to weigh in. What do you think is really going on behind the scenes? Do you believe the rumors surrounding Todd and Kandi reflect a serious confrontation? Or do you think the internet is blowing an unconfirmed situation completely out of proportion? Do Mama Joyce's alleged comments come from a place of protection, past tension, or something more complicated? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. We genuinely want to hear every perspective. If this deep dive kept you captivated, make sure you smash that like button so YouTube knows to keep pushing videos like this. Share this video with your friends because trust me, everyone is talking about this story right now, and you'll want them in the conversation. And don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update, because if more information drops, whether it's a response, a clarification, or a brand new twist, you better believe we'll be covering it right here. The Burruss-Tucker saga is still unfolding, the theories are still multiplying, and the truth, whatever it may be, remains just out of reach. Stay tuned, fam. The next chapter could change everything.